Hello, I am Stephen Redding. Multiple near-death experiences has led to me, and I should like now to share with you some of life's most revealing mysteries, such as who are we really and why are we here now? Taken together, these experiences have left me with a very high regard for this world, and at the same time showed me that it is one amongst other worlds to which we do belong. Other discoveries might suggest that we existed before our bodies were lent to us and built upon us, and also that when our time is complete here, we may continue on. Leaving here can be, in fact, living on. There is more than one room in our house of life. Following the accounts of some who have appreciated this message.
I've actually had occasion to hear Stephen speak on a number of occasions, and probably the thing that I find most encouraging about Stephen's talks are that he has this tremendous ability to just sort of reach in and pull out knowledge of what's around us that so many of us don't see. And when he talks, his message is extremely eloquent. He has just this tremendous ability to carry his message in such a humble way that you feel like you're part of his message, and it's something that you can really bring home, and it takes root in you. That kind of goes back to his whole talk about his being a chicken farmer and so forth, and the chickens roosting and what have you. But I think probably with Stephen, one of the things that I find most humbling or most encouraging is that there's so much more in our lives, and there's so much more to be discovered, and there's so much more out there that when you feel like you might be alone or you feel like there might be despair, if you hear Stephen's message and you hear that there's so much more out there, you realize that we're all in this together, and it's really a beautiful thing.
Well, Stephen is a man who has had, I'll call it an opportunity, to have some very unique experiences, gifts, where he's been able to touch the other side of the veil, some people call it, and come back, which is really rare. Very, very rare. And he's not someone who's some big spiritual leader, spiritual teacher. In fact, he's so grounded in the natural world and just so grounded. He's pure love. And he is someone who is delivering a message of hope to people. Because a lot of people are approaching the end of their life. We don't even know, obviously, when the end of our life is going to be. But the message is that it's not the end. There's something more. There's something much, much more. And he brings hope to people. And in such a lovely, beautiful, loving way that it has you celebrate life right now.
Stephen's love, gentleness, and compassion has inspired me to open myself to actually live a life without fear, to bring light into my life, and by doing that I'm bringing light into the life of my family, my fellow man, and the planet. And that's really what it's all about, raising the consciousness of the planet to love.
Well, Stephen, I first heard about him through the grapevine of people reading about how our consciousness has to change if we're going to save the earth. And then he did a lecture at IVL, which is a Indian Valley Library. And I told him at the library that was the best lecture I've ever been to. In fact, I put that in writing 3 times. And he so empowered me. I went home and planted 9 trees that day. And I went around and asked anybody want a willow tree? I'll plant it for you. And he gave me hope for the future, because I was reading too much and studying too much on all the terrible things that are happening in the earth. And here's a man that was dedicating his time to trying to have other people help save the earth. And he had critics there. It was an open thing at a library. And my reverence for him went up when I saw how calm he was with his critics. He knew how right he was. And the books that he wrote led me to other books. And one of the quotes that I remember was that Buckminster Fuller said, "You cannot change a bad system by complaining about it. You have to make it obsolete. And you have to enlighten people to change their consciousness." And that I think we can do that. That's the hope that I got from Stephen Redding, that we can do this. We can change the consciousness of the people in the world and save this living planet. And I don't know how many other people can do that to me, but I can't remember one.
I love Stephen's authenticity and how he, comes from his heart and shares, what he has seen on the other side. I mean, to me, that's really remarkable, how he is so connected to the natural world and the spirit world. And I love how he speaks about trees connect heaven and earth, and how he's seen creatures from other worlds come out of trees. And one day he called me, he was so excited, it was winter, and he and his daughter were ice skating on the pond. And he said, "Susan, there's a flower growing in the ice, you've got to come over and see it." And unfortunately I couldn't make it, but he took some photographs for me, and it's just amazing. And he's just a very genuine, sincere man, and no pretense. And he's just had some incredible otherworldly experiences that we can all learn from. And that's what I appreciate about Stephen.
Stephen Redding has had several near-death experiences, and he very kindly and straight from the heart shares his experiences with us. And I was touched by that. And I like his books and his CDs, which I could share with family and friends. And I like his connection with nature, with the nature spirits, and the way he communicates his love of nature and understanding of nature spirits with us. And he is very natural and easygoing, and I appreciate that as well.
I met Stephen last year at the Fall Festival, and what really surprised me, because it has been the first time that I'd met him and been introduced to his philosophy of something more, was that what surprised me is that he was willing to be so open-hearted and giving to even people that he hadn't known previously. And at such times, with transitioning and everything, what we're looking and going on in the world, it's very hard to keep an open heart without being resentful and wanting to close it off with so much going on. And Stephen's just someone whose heart is open and doesn't seem to care, and he'll give, and it just seems to come so naturally to him that it surprised me. And people who come from a place of good intention, positive vibrations, are not going to have that reluctance to give and be as open as Stephen. So he really affected me and touched my life, and has brought me back time and time again to be a part of his life as well, and his philosophy of something more, because what he wants to bring to the world is that there's something more than what we all see on the surface, and that we really need to delve into that to truly experience life. And that message really resonated with me. So Stephen is someone I'd love to have in my life and continue to be around.
These accounts, which you just viewed, belong to the perspective and worldview of Moore. The message can be found in different ways and places. There are two books that are published, Something More and More or Less, wherein the wonder and the mystery is beautifully illustrated. There is also a monthly video blog which handles specific themes, such as what might be next for us and parting the veil between worlds. There are also TV interviews that are archived as well as live, and me myself will be happy to come and bring to you this message in a personal live format. Thank you. Please view StephenRedding.com.